What's going on, everybody? This is Luke from South Beach Sports, and today we're going to talk about the Memphis Grizzlies versus Miami Heat game that was just concluded, in which the Heat lost 124 to 112. Now, I have a lot of stuff to get into. I have a lot of opinions, and there is a not a trend, but this game showed an area regarding the Heat's defensive scheme that I think can easily be attacked in the playoffs, especially against the 76ers, which I will go into later. We're also going to talk about the Dewayne Dedmon signing, which happened earlier today. I'm very excited for that signing. I may not sound super thrilled right now, but I do think that was the best possible signing in the buyout market. I have been clamoring for Dewayne Dedmon in multiple videos, and I'll get into what that signing means and what it could mean for the Heat for the remainder of the season. So I first want to get into the Heat's defeat. Just reading off some stats. The top performers for the Heat were Bam Adebayo. He finished with 18 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Duncan Robinson finished with 14 points off of 4 for 7 from the three-point line. Victor Oladipo had his best offensive game with the Heat, scoring 16 points to go along with 6 rebounds and 2 assists. And Jimmy Butler finished with a team-high 28 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. Now for the Memphis Grizzlies, Jonas Valanciunas had 20 points, 10 rebounds, and went 7 for 9 from the field. He had 15 of those 20 in the first quarter, which really set the tone for the rest of the game. Kyle Anderson had 19 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists to go along with another steal. And the main performer of the day for the Grizzlies had to have been Dillon Brooks. He finished the game with 28 points. He shot 10 for 16 from the field to go along with 3 for 9 from the three-point line, and he had 23 points in the third quarter, which really just opened the game up and set the tone for what was an absolute demolition in the fourth quarter. Just reading off some team stats, the Grizzlies shot the ball slightly better as they shot 55% for the game, while the Heat shot 54% from the game. The Grizzlies also made 17 three-pointers compared to the Heat's 13. The Grizzlies shot better from the free throw line, shooting 15 for 20, which is good for 75%, while the Heat shot 11 for 18, which is good for 61%. The Heat had more assists, while the Grizzlies had 7 more rebounds, and the Grizzlies actually finished with more turnovers as they had 13 compared to the Heat's 12. Probably the biggest positive and pretty much the only positive that you can take from this game was that Victor Oladipo started looking a lot more comfortable on the offensive end. This was his first game in double figures, and he really started, I would say, get into the groove of things. There were moments and times where I wish he was more aggressive. He's still a little too unselfish and too passive at times, but I believe that that aggressiveness and that drive to score will just increase as he gains comfort in the Heat's offense. Another bright spot was Duncan Robinson again. He made 4 of his 7 threes, and he just constantly provided spacing for the Heat throughout the entire night. Now, that's about it for the positives. I mean, Jimmy Butler also had 28, but I wasn't super thrilled with his overall performance. I thought Jimmy's performance on the defensive end wasn't up to his usual standard, especially at the end of the third quarter, where Dillon Brooks took him to the basket 3 straight times, which is very un-Jimmy Butler-like on defense. Now, getting more into Dillon Brooks, he had one of the most incredible quarters I've seen someone have against the Heat in quite some time, as again, he had 23 points in that third quarter. He could not miss. And when he wasn't banging threes on everybody, he was taking one of the best defenders in the NBA and Jimmy Butler to the basket. So he pretty much did whatever he wanted, especially in that third quarter. One of the reasons why he had so many open looks and why, I mean, he wasn't the only one getting open looks. It was Kyle Anderson, Grayson Allen was getting open looks, Desmond Bane was getting open looks, Tyus Jones was getting open looks, was the result of what Jonas Valanciunas did in that first quarter. The Heat's game plan was to front Jonas Valanciunas and then get weak side help from whoever the backside defender was. The main problem with doing that is that yes, that often does take the big out or whoever you're fronting out the game, but at the same time it leaves you very, very vulnerable to corner threes, as the rotations are thus very, very late. The reason why I said that this could be a problem in the playoffs, especially against the 76ers, is because if this is the way they choose to play Joel Embiid, then the Heat could face major problems, as this would lead to open threes by some of the best corner shooters in the game, such as Seth Curry and Danny Green. So I imagine that the Heat will scheme a new way, or scheme a different way to face these bigs. Because if Jonas Valanciunas affects the game this much, then I don't even want to think what Joel Embiid could do in a 7-game series. Not even just from a production standpoint from Embiid himself, but from how much he could affect the rest of the game. Because if the Heat are just letting the likes of Seth Curry and Danny Green shoot corner threes, open corner threes I should mention, all they want, then there's no way the Heat are gonna beat the Sixers in a 7-game series. There's no way, especially when you add in the likes of Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and of course Joel Embiid himself. The Heat have to find a way to scheme against these back down bigs, like a Joel Embiid, like a Jonas Valanciunas, like a Nikola Jokic, like a Nikola Vucevic, without leaving wide open shots to shooters in the corner. They can't win 7-game series like that in the playoffs. They can't. So I expect Erik Spoelstra, as one of the best head coaches in the NBA, if not the best head coach in the NBA, to correct this and scheme a way around this. So we'll see. I think that'll be a very interesting and intriguing development for the rest of the Heat season, and how they learn from this abomination tonight, and just move on and find a new way to defend these players and defend actions built around these back down players. So in other news, the Heat signed Dewayne Dedmon today off the buyout market. I won't be providing a deep review today. I already did that in a previous video, which I will link down in the description below. So Dedmon will provide the Heat with a much needed interior presence, especially defensively, as he is a solid rim protector. He's also a good rebounder, and he's surprisingly a decent shooter, as in his last full season with one team, in 2018 and 2019, he shot 38% from 3 with the Atlanta Hawks. He did drop off last year from 3, as with the Kings and the Hawks, he only shot around 20% from 3, so that's a major drop off, and something that's a little concerning, but I would hope that the Heat could reignite that magic he had in 2018 and 2019 and turn Dedmon into a decent shooter once again. So I would watch out for the remainder of the season to see what minutes Dedmon would play, and I'm very curious to see if Dedmon ends up cracking the playoff rotation. So that's it for today, guys. I just want to give a quick recap on the 112-124 defeat to the Memphis Grizzlies, and just a quick thought, my quick thoughts on the Dewayne Dedmon signing. So if you enjoyed today's video, and if you enjoy content like this, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It would help this growing channel so much. And comment down below your thoughts on the Dewayne Dedmon signing, along with your thoughts on the Heat's defeat to the Grizzlies today. So with that being said, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.